I can't be the only person out there who feels like we're not getting all the information about this Vance Bolter situation. And let me tell you why. We already know he targeted 2 Democratic lawmakers who recently broke with their party and chose to vote against providing health care to illegal immigrants. But on top of that, now we have this individual who apparently worked at Papa John's and was his roommate, who is reading these text messages and saying that, oh, he was a strong Trump supporter, right? And people are saying, oh, he was a registered Republican. First of all, Minnesota doesn't require you to declare party affiliation when you register to vote in the first place. And on top of that, he also was the CEO of some international non-governmental organization, or NGO. His wife was found in a vehicle several counties away with passports and weapons and ammunition, looking like they were trying to get away. And Tim Walz appointed him to a governor's board. And answer me this, how did he have a roommate who worked at Papa John's, but he's also on the deed of the house that he and his wife own? How does that make sense? And then on top of all that, he has this huge list of Democrats that he's apparently going after. That would make sense if the plan was to establish someone as the new martyr for the Democrat side in conjunction with the No Kings protests. But these are all questions that I have and a lot of other people have them too. Facts aren't adding up. Things aren't lining up. There has to be more to the story. Now that he's been arrested, I'm hoping that we'll actually get some answers to these questions.
No, you're not. Let's find out.
Bullying okay?
Is bullying okay as teacher?
Is bullying okay, yes or no? Is it okay to bully somebody?
I think
yes
there's
or
a
no?
time to push back at a bully. So yes, I do think there's a time.
So you think it's okay to bully others?
I think it's okay to bully the bully.
Called out on this because I called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator. It's because he is. It's because he is. The governor's being mean and the governor's speaking out on that. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce. We have to ferociously push back on this. And again, I'll speak to my teacher colleagues in here. The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully, to watch this bully and to stop it. And when it's a child, you talk to them and you tell them why bullying's wrong. But when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully the shit out of him back.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye. Just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. To be clear, there's no way for us to know whether they were actually criminals or not, because they refused to give them a trial. We're supposed to just take their word for it.
But where's that energy when Obama was doing it? It wasn't there, and he deported way more.
On my phone, I don't know, some of you know this on the iPhone, they've got that little stock app. I added Tesla to it to give me a little boost during the day. 225 and dropping. So, and if you own one, we're not blaming you. You can take dental floss and pull the Tesla thing off, you know, and take out, just telling you.
So instead of calling it out, sometimes he was celebrating it. But think about it. What would happen when one of your own people voted differently?
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision.
DFL Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman emotional following the House's adjournment from a special session Monday. Hortman was the lone DFL lawmaker to cast a vote to cut Minnesota Care access for undocumented immigrants. It's a move she made with a heavy heart.
I did what leaders do. I stepped up and I got the job done for the people of Minnesota.
The bill was deeply unpopular with members of the DFL caucus. Members have repeatedly expressed frustration that the bill was part of a compromise, one that would ensure the necessary GOP votes to pass the rest of the state budget.
We are tremendously disappointed and gut-wrenched at this decision, at this compromise that compromises our communities that are most vulnerable.
Hortman knows she let down her own caucus members with the vote.
They're right to be mad at me. I think some of them are pretty angry. I think that their job was to make folks who voted for that bill feel like crap, and I think that they succeeded.
Over in the Senate, a similar situation unfolded. Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy forced to vote for a bill she too disagreed with to uphold the integrity of their compromise.
This one hurt. This one is a wound because of its reason. My colleagues across the aisle set this as their number one priority.
Asked whether the move would drive a wedge between her and the rest of her caucus, her DFL colleague, Senator John Marty, quickly stepped to her defense.
As a member of the caucus,
Yes, sir.
she clearly was fighting against it every step of the way. In the negotiations, if we wanted a budget, we had to agree to that.
And guess what happened? Even if you agree with the budget to reach a middle ground, but you didn't want to, but you need the budget so you can help other categories, other victims, whenever you want to categorize it, depending on which one you pull out, they might go after you. And this lady got deleted and the husband got deleted. It's not democratic anymore if I fear for my life, and it's not democratic when Tim Walz or maybe other people might talk like Tim Walz, like, I care about these people, don't use violence, but if it's Trump, go after him. You might be doing something way worse than you think. That's just my observation.
Belter then traveled to Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, in the home of Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman. At approximately 3:30 a.m., Belter arrived at Representative Hortman's house in his black SUV with the police license plates. He parked in the driveway and left the emergency lights on his SUV flashing as if he was a police officer. Belter approached Representative Hortman's home, again dressed as a police officer, wearing the tactical vest and body armor, and wearing that hyper-realistic mask. He was armed and carrying a flashlight. Before he entered the home, 2 Brooklyn Park police officers arrived at the scene. They too had been dispatched to check on Representative Hortman after learning of the shooting of Senator Hoffman. When they arrived at the scene, they saw Belter's black SUV parked in the driveway with the emergency lights flashing, and they saw Belter standing in front of the house several feet from the door. When Belter saw the officers get out of the car, he drew his weapon and began firing. He rushed into the house through the front door, firing into it. He repeatedly fired into the house, and when he entered, he murdered Representative Hortman and her husband, Mark.
But the thing is, why are we focusing if it's radical left or radical right? Why should we just say if somebody voted like you don't like, shooting that person is bad?
Belter's wife being detained today, Tom.
Yeah, I've been working the phones for several hours, as you know, trying to track this down while we were all covering the manhunt here in the Twin Cities this morning. Sources tonight tell me the case was also taking a turn about 90 minutes to the north near Onamia in Mille Lacs County. Multiple law enforcement sources with direct knowledge of what happened tell 5 Eyewitness News there was a traffic stop at a convenience store near Onamia. Between 10 and 11 a.m. this morning, law enforcement made a traffic stop involving a vehicle carrying several relatives of Vance Belter, including his wife. We have talked to an eyewitness who says about a dozen law enforcement squads converged on the vehicle and remained on the scene for 2 to 3 hours. We are also told by several of our sources the vehicle contained a weapon, ammunition, cash, and passports. To our knowledge, no one in that group has been arrested, just detained for questioning. She was being tracked. So this was not a random traffic stop. They had an idea of where she was, and they were able to track her.
Isn't that suspicious? If something happened to your partner, and surprise, surprise, you're on your way, very far away, with a bunch of money that you remove from your bank account with your family relatives, and you have a weapon on you and ammo? Isn't that wild? I don't know what I have to say. I just don't believe a lot of things that people say about this because the pattern, it's odd.
A moment in this country where we watched violence erupt. This cannot be the norm. It cannot be the way that we deal with our political differences. Now's the time for us to recommit to the core values of this country. And each and every one of us can do it. Talk to a neighbor rather than arguing. Debate an issue. Shake hands. Find common ground. This is who Melissa Hortman was. In the first negotiating session that I had a chance to work with her, she got all the partners in the room, and she provided each and every one of us a copy of a book called Getting to Yes. And the whole premise was debating with a sense of goodwill, a sense of trying to come to compromises that serve everyone. And because of her, we did that. Because of her, we did that year after year after year. That's the embodiment of how things are supposed to work. It's not about hatred. It's not about mean tweets.
It's not about demeaning someone. It's leading with grace and compassion and vision and compromise and decency. That was taken from us in Minnesota with the murder of Speaker Hortman. So for each and every one of us to truly honor, and we will continue to honor that spirit, but we will need to do it in just more than actions in a memorial. Conducting ourselves in the spirit that Melissa Hortman did her work is what the country needs to heal.
In all honesty, I can't listen to this guy. Because yes, she got the yes and a target on her. She got the yes and she was considered a bully. So that's the issue. And now I don't care if he's left-leaning or right-leaning. All I know is supposedly he is married, he has a bunch of kids, but for some odd reason he's living with somebody else. Yeah, it's wild, right?
Asked about Mr. Bolter's political affiliations, and David Carlson, once again his roommate and best friend, known him since 4th grade, did say Bolter voted for Trump and that he was a strong supporter.
Really?
But he hasn't really talked about politics lately, and from what his friend knew, he had no idea that Bolter was interested at all in local or state lawmakers as well. His friend didn't even know the names of the lawmakers who were attacked today. The friend had no idea of Bolter even going to the state capitol. He never talked about state lawmakers, and that is some of the political affiliations that he told us about. Although he did have some ties in the Congo, apparently he flew out to D.C. to meet with an official.
But then now supposedly the friend, maybe a best friend from the best, okay, I'll believe you, has read a message from the guy that did the thing.
Dead shortly, so I just want to let you know that I love you guys both, and I wish it hadn't gone this way. I don't want to say anything more and implicate you in any way, because you guys don't know anything about this. But I love you guys, and I'm sorry for all the trouble this has caused. I mean, he was a loving, caring guy, you know, loved his family, loved his friends, and loved God, and I don't know why he did what he did. It's not Vance. No one will believe this. No one that grew up. He had lots of friends, trust me. And I wish I could have been there to stop him.
If he's truly your friends, my condolences. But then the interviewer were asking a few more questions, and this is how he responded.
Is there a photo of your phone screen left behind?
Yeah, I just don't want Jenny seeing it splashed on the...
Yeah, I mean, we want to run it big, but like, I mean, just
yeah,
really
it's alright. I read it, that's...
Okay, that's fine. No, totally fine. Totally okay. Totally okay.
6:17
a.m.
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got over here. What did the text say?
Good, you missed it. I can't read it again. It takes too much out of me.
I mean, I just find it odd. If you care so much about your friends, you want to make sure that he looks good, right? But suddenly you don't have the energy. It just feels a little odd to me.
Yeah.
Thank you. We don't want to take more of your time, so thank you so much.
No problem.
Thanks for entertaining.
I just want you guys to just not say crazy right-winger gone nuts and you know, that was all he is, you know. It just bothers me that's his legacy. But I knew him all my life. He wasn't that guy, you know. You're gonna kill me.
I just find it odd, but maybe I can't see it. Maybe it's me. At least I hope we can get a manifesto.
Talk a little bit more about the manifesto and what kind of motivation it might be. We're told that there might be some pro-choice lawmakers on this manifesto. That has anything to do with the motivations here?
At this point in time, it would be premature. The question was, is the manifesto and the information that we have received, is their motivations? We are working diligently on that. There's certainly some indications within that, but there's not specifics enough. We have been, this is a very active and fluid investigation. Throughout the day, as you've been waiting, and these teams have been out working out in the field, and they have been gathering more documents and information, so it would be premature for me at this point to really say exactly what the motivation might be from these writings, but we will be continuing to work on that and provide that information when we're able.
I see that as a translation. There's not enough in the manifesto to call it a manifesto. But then again, I'm like, if there's not enough and there's no manifesto, you can at least let us know exactly what might be happening, right? I guess that's not enough. Like, it's a guy in a small community. I'm sure most people might know something about him, right?
And that's what we've been seeing throughout Green Isle here. We've been here all day yesterday and now all morning now. We haven't been able to find anyone in Green Isle who knows Vance Belter. I even went to a BP gas station yesterday to talk to the woman at the counter. The woman said she's worked there for many years. She'd never seen Vance Belter. She saw the pictures of him on the news. He didn't look familiar. His name didn't sound familiar. So we haven't been able to find anyone in Green Isle who knows this man.
This reminds me of Thomas Crook, the guy that shot at Trump. We'll never find out anything about him. And that also means the manifesto, just like the Nashville Manifesto, it depends on who it's supporting. It will come out faster or it will never come out. That is the pattern that I keep seeing, allegedly.
Don't get me wrong, ma cosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk criollo colombici jam jam. Dur loqueta verdetta welcome.